Volunteers in Medical Missions. May I have Marianne speak?
Bonjour. Buenos dias. Jumbo. Hello. These are just some of the greetings that I've used on my trips with Volunteers in Medical Missions. It started in Seneca, South Carolina in 1985. A young Church of God physician from Honduras, Dr. Roman Francisco Cruz, came to Seneca where I was practicing medicine. He asked if I would bring a team to Honduras and build him a medical clinic. I really caught his vision and said, yes, I'll do that. I'll bring one team next year in 1986 and we'll build you a clinic. And we did that. We built the clinic in a week, saw over 1,000 patients, and I felt that I had made my commitment to world missions, my one trip. That was 37 trips ago.
VIMM is not afraid to take you to remote parts of the world to minister to the people with great needs. On one of those occasions we were in Honduras, and to get to this village we traveled about 30 minutes off the main highway. We had our clinic, and on a return home, when we got back to the rivers that we'd crossed, they were at flood stage. The water was so deep that it came up over the hood of the truck to the windshield. But we made it to the other side, and the people were rejoicing because VIMM had ventured in to their part of the world and brought medical supplies to their village.
I first became involved with VIMM in 1991 when I joined Dr. Stoney Abercrombie in a large team traveling to Moscow, Russia. I became hooked on VIMM after that trip in 1991.
I never cease to be amazed at the effect that VIMM is having on people that are team members. We were down in Peru. There was a little girl that had been hanging around my son. She was probably about 8. She kept saying to him in Spanish, "I have a gift for you." So the day before we were leaving, she walks up and she has a chicken, a live chicken. And she's going to give this chicken to my son Andrew. Now the problem with that was a chicken to us in the United States really doesn't mean too much, but a chicken to her, you know, he was really broken up by it, and he finally had to say, well, you know, we really just can't transport this chicken back with me, but you just need to keep this chicken. And so that really spoke closely to him and made an impact on him. Of course, it made an impact on me too.
There's a man in Tanzania by the name of Peter George that would not be alive today had VIMM not been there. Peter came to us with a huge mass under his neck. He had not even been able to speak for over 6 months nor eat for over 3 to 4 weeks. He was losing weight, was dying. We took off 2.5 pounds of fluid from the neck mass. Then we operated for 4 hours to remove this mass so that he would be able to speak and to eat.
You get so much more from VIMM than you put into it. Just to see the smile on a child's face after you give them just a piece of candy, or the look on a mother's face when you give her a bag of medicine for her children.
VIMM, Volunteers in Medical Missions. That's exactly who we are. Volunteers who pay our own way and provide medical care for those in need. Yet we could not do this without the support of the office staff at VIMM headquarters.
The office staff is the first voice people hear when they contact Volunteers in Medical Missions. We give them information about who we are and how we do trips. We coordinate the details of the flights and arrangements for the trips. We maintain a database to keep up with our finances and our mailings. We process a newsletter every 2 months that gives information to our donors and people interested in Volunteers in Medical Missions. And the office staff feels like our job is more than just a job. We are part of the mission, and we are excited about that.
From those humble beginnings in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains, Volunteers in Medical Missions has been a part of the Great Commission to go into all the world. We've worked on 5 continents and ministered to patients' needs in 24 different countries. giving free care to physical needs, performing minor surgery, giving counseling, and providing free medications to all the patients. In America, we're used to high technology in the medical field. This is not true in most of the countries that we visit. They have very little of any technology. Yet we've tried to make a difference with Volunteers in Medical Missions by building 7 medical clinics around the world.
One thing I like about VIMM is the fact that it is interdenominational, and we have so many faiths that go, but when we all get there and we're all working as a team, no one thinks about your denomination. You just think about the fact that you're Christians.
I had the opportunity to go to India in 1998 and 1999, where we worked with physicians and workers at the Shefflin Leprosy Research and Training Center. This is one of the world's leading institutions in the research and treatment of leprosy or Hansen's disease patients. We had the opportunity to share with thousands there not only our medicines, but the love of God.
VIMM is primarily a medical group, but it's also a Christian group. And so when we go and we have the opportunity, we not only give them medicine, but we also pray. And many times I've seen the doctors, after they checked their patient, to lay their hands on the patient and pray for them, and we've had many to receive Jesus as their Savior because of this.
What does it take to put together a successful VIMM trip? It takes local financial support, many volunteers, both medical and non-medical, and medical supplies and medications. Now, all 3 of these are equally important, and the trip cannot be successful without any one of these. On my first trip, I had planned to treat 500, but we saw over 1,400 patients. And on the last day, we ran out of all of our medications. I shall never forget getting in the back of that truck with people standing there with needs. We tried to go through the crowd very slowly, and a mother pushed forward. And she pushed her child into my arms and screamed out, "Take my child, it's its only hope." And yet I had to push that child back into her hands, and her screaming no, with my knowledge knowing that that child was dying and that there was no hope. Yes, I'm trained to treat that child, but I didn't have the medications to do it. And I sat there in the back of that truck, and I looked up to the sky, and I said with tears running down my eyes, "God, I make a promise to you. I will never allow this to happen again." And with help of many friends, we have been successful in keeping that promise. Yet I need your help. Help me keep that promise to the hurting people of the world. They are in desperate need, and we have the answer for them.